Okay, so we're here with Kimberly Johnson, a.k.a. Special K. How's it going today?
It is going fabulous. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
All right. Well, hey guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Special K. I am a spoken word artist and entertainer, hostess with the mostest, best that ever was on the East Coast. And don't you forget it, I'm a storyteller and I am here to entice your ears and make you addicted to my words. I come to you bringing greetings from sunny Virginia in the United States, but I will soon be sharing bread with you in the good old Peterborough.
Okay, so Virginia in the US. I'm really interested to know how a spoken word artist from Virginia is playing a gig in Peterborough in the East Midlands of England. So, can you just tell us a bit about how did that come to pass?
Yeah, sure. Well, there was this global thing that happened, and everybody had to stay inside. And so that happened, and I like people. And so I was like, I need to find people. So I went onto the internet, and lo and behold, there was a poetry pick and make happening online. And I was first introduced to Zoom, so I couldn't see anybody. I couldn't see anybody in the squares, couldn't figure it out, but they could apparently see me. And I met the wonderful Gary Huskinson, and we have just become friends ever since then. I have done some open mics, I've done a lot of open mics in various countries and the UK, and met some really good friends. And so I came last year to support my good friend Kathy Carson in her one woman show. And then Gary organized an open mic where I did a feature. And when I told him I was doing a one woman show, I was like, "So you want me to come back?" And he was, "Absolutely. Yes, you have to come back." And so now I'm coming back with my one woman show.
That's amazing. I mean, like that big global thing that you talked about was awful in so many ways. But I think that Zoom really, like, I think people just found a way to sort of connect. And I remember being on an open mic with Gary or one of his or one of mine. I can't remember. And he's like, "I've got to go. I'm in New Zealand tomorrow morning doing open mic." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" So I think that's amazing. That really is. Okay, so tell us a little bit about how you got into doing spoken word, poetry. How did you get from picking up a pen to writing a one woman show?
Wow. Let's see. Well, I've always been a writer, probably just as long as I've been walking. And I've been really heavy into spoken word for the last 6 or 7 years. For the last 5 years, I've been, and then from going from spoken word often entertaining audiences that I've done like short storytelling shows with, kind of like storytelling open mics. She's a producer, and she just said, "Hey, would you ever do your own show?" I thought that she was kidding. And so I was like, "For you, I would do anything." And she was like, "Great, let's set up a time next week to talk." And I was just like, What? Like, oh, you mean like now and you were serious. Oh, okay." And then once I realized that I had actually said yes, the inspiration and the story just flowed out of me. So it was the right time, the right moment, everything.
Amazing. That's great. So tell us a little bit about the show then. The show, I believe, is called More Than Just a Mum. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, Glad I got that right. That would have been rubbish on the promo. So obviously, I'm guessing that I read a little bit about your bio and a little bit about the show. I'm guessing that there's some themes of like exploring your identity and motherhood, all that kind of stuff. So tell us a little bit about what's in the show, what the themes of it, and what can people expect when they come and see it. And is it going to be more than just a show about being more than just a mom?
Absolutely. So first of all, don't let the title fool you or scare you or make you think that this isn't for you. This is a show for anybody who has been through anything or is going through anything or will go through anything. And yes, the show explores my identity as a mom, but it also explores my identity of being obviously more than just a mom. But it touches on topics that are hard for people to talk about and hard for people to say, oh my gosh, I've been through that. And it kind of lets them know that they're not alone. Topics such as childhood rape, domestic violence, suicide, thoughts and ideation, mental health, and then also learning how and finding out that you can love yourself. So those are topics that the show touches on. You were definitely going to laugh. You might cry. So bring some Kleenex because I'm not responsible for snot-stained, ruined clothing. And you're going to leave feeling inspired and empowered and knowing that you're not alone and you are more than.
Okay, thank you. So, so you mentioned some quite sort of heavy topics and themes there. So, but you said that we might laugh as well. So, how do you find a balance between delivering those topics and also bringing it back to a light-hearted way? What's your sort of process or techniques that you use to make that happen?
Well, life, I think of life as a roller coaster anyway. And so you're not always up and you're not always down. And even as a spoken word artist, as a short storyteller, and those aspects, I always try to find the roller coaster of my pieces. And I have just kind of learned over the years how to not stay on the top of the mountain for too long, but also how to come through the valley and start going back up the mountain. And so that's why I said you'll laugh, because I use laughter as a lot of transition periods. Laughter is like medicine and it is good for the soul. So even in our traumatic moments, we still find laughter. And it's the little things. For example, there is a part in the show where I pee in a cup. And when I was exactly, you're gonna have to come to the show to find out why I pee in the cup and like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's actually doing this. But yeah, so I do this, and as I was writing, I was remembering like how this moment that actually happened. And so I include some things that once you understand why I'm peeing in the cup, then I include some more details that actually happened. And you're like, what? Like, and your mind is just like, I don't even understand why 2 hours? Like, so those are just little tidbits. You have to come and maybe during the Q&A afterwards, you can ask me about that. Hello, kitty.
Tally's so excited about the show. She was like, peeing in a cup, that sounds great. That's my cup of tea. So you're doing okay. That's I think that sounds like a really bold and interesting part of the show. So you're going to do a Q&A as well. So what kind of things
Correct.
do you think you'll be discussing when people are asking you questions about the show and what you do?
Um, I really don't know. I've done the show twice already, and the questions have run the gamut from, wow, it was awesome, I really needed to see that, to, oh my gosh, I didn't know somebody else went through that. And that's part of the
Mm.
reason why I do the Q&A at the end, is because I know that I have just taken people on an emotional roller coaster through the trauma of my life, exposing things that they might have been through or they might have experienced in similar situations. And I don't want people to go home feeling raw. I really want to give them that like nice, smooth transition. So it really depends on the experiences that the audience has already had. That depends on the questions, but I'm open to any and all of them.
I think that thing that you touched on there is really important, actually, of like as poets, we can really take people into some dark places of the things that we're expressing. And I think it's really important that if you take people down, that you bring them back up again. You know, I think that's really important because, like you say, you don't want people coming away feeling too raw. So it sounds like that you've really thought about your audience and how they're gonna interpret the show, and that's great. I think that's really really important thing to do. So the show's in Peterborough on Friday the 28th of April. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Excellent. So if people are wanting to check out your stuff in the meantime, is there anywhere they can go and sort of maybe experience some poetry? I'm guessing you haven't put all the stuff from the show out there. That will be sort of that'll be kept under wraps. But where can people go? Where can people find you online and maybe check some of your stuff out, either videos or read it or anything like that?
Well, the easiest thing to do is to go to Linktree. I am Special K Poetry on Linktree, and there's a link for everything. I have a spoken word album out. It's titled Wordspiration Awakens. So you could hear a sample of that album as well as get the download version of it. You can see the promo for More Than Just a Mom there. Also, there are links to my social there. So, and you can follow me there and I can keep you updated for all the things that are going on. But yeah, that's the easiest thing to do.
Amazing. And are you doing any more shows while you're in the UK, or it's just the one in Peterborough?
Just the one in Peterborough. I have kind of.
That's what we're going to call it from now on.
I mean, because here, that's how we would say it, is Peterborough. And it's so funny. Like, I have been saying Peterborough for like a gazillion months. I've been saying it. It was not until about a month ago that I realized I was saying it wrong. And it was only because I went on YouTube and I was like, let me see where I'm going. Let's see it. So I was like listening, and the guy kept saying Peterborough. And I was just like, no way. No. And then I like, oh, I've been saying, I've been online telling people, I've been on social media saying, I'm going to Peterborough in the UK. I'm going to Peterborough. And I've been saying it wrong. So Peterborough, yeah. And apparently I'm going to be in a chip shop because ever since Gary met me, he has been telling me that I'm going to be working with Elvis in a chip shop. So, but yeah, so no, but I have combined this trip to be my daughter's senior class trip as well as a working trip for me. So I am going to do some networking in Oh Lord, Chichester. I haven't learned how to say that one yet.
Is that Chichester?
Yes, that one. I think.
Chichester.
I think. I think that's how you say it. So I'm gonna be speaking at a networking event there, and then I'm just gonna pop up a couple places during the Pick and Mix weekend. But the main event for me is the show on the 28th. And then, also, I do host an online open mic every other Tuesday, the first and third Tuesday of the month. It's called Ready, Set, Poet. So it's 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And it's really fun. And we come on, it's a round robin of poets, and you may do one piece, you may do 5, just depending on how many people come and enjoy an hour of speed poetry.
Okay, I'm just quickly looking up what time that is for the UK crowd. So that is 11:30 in the night on a Monday. Sorry, 11:30 in the night. So it's 4 hours later. So 11:30 until 12:30 our time.
Yes.
Yep. So so if you want to check that out, did you say the first Tuesday and the first and third Tuesday of them?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. So people, you should definitely go and check that out. Awesome. So that sounds great. I think it's going to be an amazing show. I'm really gutted I'm not going to be able to make it, unfortunately, because I've got a comedy show that I'm organising that night. But thanks so much for coming and joining us in the East Midlands. And next time you're over, definitely, I'm definitely going to come and check it out. But so next Friday, 28th, all the details are below, so please check it out. And thanks again, Kimberly, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Have a great one. See you guys.